Alright, next movie I want to talk about. When Harry Met Sally. Now, this is an older movie, came out in the late 80s. It's kind of like a seasonal movie, so I decided to watch it now because it's almost time for the holidays, even though it's not quite. But When Harry Met Sally, it's a romantic comedy, I would say, but, with a little bit of satirical commentary on love and relationships and things. But it's pretty much about these two characters, Harry and Sally, obviously played by Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. So if you've ever heard of the movie, you probably know who these two actors are. And so let's see, Harry and Sally, they kind of meet originally because Sally is driving to where Harry's going, and Harry knows her friend, so that's how they got a ride. So they're driving to New York, and that's pretty much how they meet. Now, throughout the rest of the movie, they proceed to meet each other. I don't know how to describe this, but they kind of meet each other just intermittently throughout like a number of years. Pretty much a lot of time passes in between, so you might get a couple years here, a few years there, and the whole thing about this movie is they're talking about relationships and how men and women apparently can't be friends, just platonic friends, if any if I don't even know how to describe it. It's pretty much this movie about talking about sex and relationships and being friends, and if you could be friends, but sex gets in the way. That's basically the premise. So clearly the movie explains it a lot better than I do, but it's a very interesting movie. I watched it a long time ago when I was younger, but I couldn't understand anything because I hadn't done the whole relationship thing yet. So now that I'm a little bit older, have a little bit more experience, I pretty much understand what they're trying to get at, and I actually really, really respect what they're trying to portray in the entire movie. So about halfway through this movie, about halfway through Harry Met Sally, they become friends, so they actually start seeing each other a little bit more often. And what ends up happening is they are friends, but they don't quite get into a relationship because, they're such good friends that they don't want to do anything to ruin it, and, yada, yada, yada. So, cut to the last 20 minutes of the movie where I won't tell you what happens, but there's a couple recurring themes, like big events happen on New Year's Eve, and, people getting married, and it's not them, yada, yada, yada. So, overall, it's a very good character development and dialogue movie. There's not that much action, there's not that much moving. There's a lot of jokes, there's a lot of funny moments. And I definitely have to say When Harry Met Sally is definitely a good movie, definitely worth a watch. And if you haven't already seen it, you should probably watch it. So, yep, When Harry Met Sally. Okay, last movie for today. Let's talk about I'm Reed Fish. Now, originally I'd heard about this movie from my coworker. He actually recommended it after watching it over the weekend. Not this weekend, it was like months ago, but I kept the title in mind and I never really got around to it because I, didn't have time. But now that I have time, finally got around to it, and it's I'm Reed Fish. Now, this movie I don't really think has any huge name actors. Like I don't really know any of these people. But it stars this guy who plays a character. His character's name is Reed Fish. R-E-E-D Fish. He lives in this small town, and a lot of drama happens. Basically, when his former girlfriend or person that he had some sort of relationship with comes back into town, kind of like on the eve, on the month eve of his wedding to his current girlfriend. So they build up an interesting character. He's kind of like this lone kid because he lost his parents in a car accident a while back. They delve a little bit deeper into that into the movie, so I don't want to give too much away. But there's that. He works for a radio station. The radio station was his father's radio station, and he kind of inherited it, basically. So, and everybody in town knows him because it's a very small town and they all listen to the same radio station. And needless to say, they do quite a few clever things in this movie. Now, for the most part, I thought the acting was decent, except when you first watch it, you might think it's kind of bad, but then there's this little thing that happens in the middle of the movie that kind of explains, oh hey, they could be acting badly because they're trying to act as though they're acting in something. Now that might not make any sense now, but if you end up watching it, you'll definitely see what I'm getting at. And it's almost confusing because there's actually 2 plot twists in this movie. Halfway through the movie when you see that point, and then there's this point near the end of the movie where it's kind of like, things are like shifted around, and it's like, whoa, that's crazy, I can't believe they did that, or, you know, he did that, and that's pretty much what the movie, so, great character development movie, great dialogue movie, definitely worth a watch, I feel, and almost to an extent realistic, and actually, not going to give anything away, but watch the credits carefully, just to see who wrote the story, yeah, so, anyway, I'm Reed Fish, definitely worth a watch, definitely liked it as a movie. Problem with this is, it looks like a B movie, and actually I think film quality, it is B movie-ish, but it's actually, you know, in the, how do I say, better quality of the B movies, so it's definitely not a bad movie. It's definitely worth a watch. I would say it's actually on par with the kind of style as, like, Rocket Science, or like, you know, Juno, Little Miss Sunshine. It's kind of like that, except not quite as funny. Like, there aren't as many punchlines in this one. It's mostly just a drama movie, so. But I'm Reed Fish. Definitely worth a watch. Definitely recommend. Not for everybody, though. So, anyway, that's it. I think I've gone a little bit over time. Probably going to have to cut this into 2 parts, too. Sorry about doing this a lot, but I like to talk. I'm Chatty Cathy, so. Alright, well, you guys have a good night and enjoy the movies.